Okay, Rabbi, we are going to learn tonight two halachot pertaining to the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. The shofar on Rosh Hashanah obviously is the central mitzvah, and there is two questions that I wanted to bring up that is very interesting that has to do a little bit also with certain things that I heard about the type of shofar that they use in Morocco. So I first want to discuss about what type of shofar one should use, and after that maybe we'll have a little bit of time to discuss how the tkiyot should come out and how the tkiyot used to be used in Morocco, how it used to be blown in Morocco. So the first thing is like this. The Gemara says in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, Kol ha-shofrot ksherin, Daf Chav Vav Amud Aleph. Kol ha-shofrot ksherim, all the shofrot are kasher, chutz mishel para, besides the shofar of a para, mipnei shu keren. Amar Rav Yossi, ve'alo kol ha-shofrot nikreu keren, are all shofrot called a keren? Shneimar bimshoch keren yovel. Okay, so the Gemara seems to say that all the shofrot are kasher, and the Gemara adds, that's what the Mishnah says. The Gemara adds on two reasons why one cannot use the shofar of a cow, of a para. Number one is because en kategor nasis sanegor, something that was used for the cheta egel, you're not going to use it as a zechut, as a prosecuting angel for you. The odd, as a defendant, I mean. ועוד מפני דחדש שופר כי אמר רחמנא ולא שתיים ושלושה. And second reason is because the shofar of a para by nature has many layers to it, and therefore only one shofar is supposed to use, but not many other layers. Okay, the Gemara goes on further in the Amud Bet, and it says shofar shel Rosh Hashanah. There's a Mishnah that says like this: the shofar of Rosh Hashanah shel Yael Pashut upiv mitzupe zahav. There's one opinion that says it comes from a Ya'el, literally translated as a Steinbeck type of animal, a Steinbeck, a Ya'el. Rav Yehuda, he was in Ashkenaz, Steinbeck, yeah? Rav Yehuda Omer, Berosh Hashanah, Tokin B'Shel Zecharin, Ubeyovlot B'Shel Ya'elim. Rav Yehuda is of the opinion that on Rosh Hashanah, we blow the shofar with a Zecharin. We're going to see that it specifically we mean an ayil, because the Gemara later on, an ayil means a ram, because the Gemara later on says Amar Rav Levi mitzvah shel Rosh Hashanah v'shel Yom HaKippurim b'chufin, the mitzvah lechatchila to use a shofar on Rosh Hashanah that is bent. Now, what is the reason why one should use a shofar on Rosh Hashanah that it's bent? The Gemara says Kama dekayef inchi ma'alitfei, because the more bent that it is, the better it is. The question is this le'ikuva? In other words, should somebody dafka use a shofar from a ram or not? And this is very nogea, this is very relevant, because on the market, there's all these fancy shofarot that are very long. I don't know if you've seen them. They're very, very long shofarot. They call them the Teimani shofars. These shofars are not from a ram. These shofars, a ram doesn't produce those type of shofarot. Rather, these shofarot come from an animal called the kodo animal, the kodo. And that kudo animal has this very, very fancy shofar. And you're right that it's you're right that it's kafuf. You're right that the shofar is bent. So we're mekayem what the Gemara says, that it's kama de kafif me'alitfe. But on the other hand, it's not from an ayil. So is there a specific reason to use the shofar shel ayil? So Rashi and the Rambam seem to imply that dafka ayil should be used. There is specifically an advantage of using a shofar from a ram. Why? Because Rashi says in the Gemara over there, he says mitzvah b'shel ayil. Liskor akidato shel Yitzchak. He says not only because it's going to be the more that it's bent is better, but also in order to remember the akidat Yitzchak that was done with an ayil. And the Lashon HaRambam also is in Perek Aleph, Halakha Aleph. The Rambam says the mitzvah is to use the shofar shel ayil. And the Ravad says, why? As long as it's kafuf, it's okay. But it seems to be the Rambam understood that when the Gemara says mitzvah b'kfufim, it meant not only because the more that we're kafuf tfei, but there is also there is an added reason of ayil, that of a ram. And it could be like Rashi said, So according to this, um, and Rashi says, the lashon of Rashi is Hilkach beRosh HaShana de letfila ve'laskir akedat Yitzchak vainan kfufim. Whenever you're going to come to be maskir akedat Yitzchak, you should use something kafuf. In other words, since you're coming to Hashem all bent, and you're bent asking with the schut of akedat Yitzchak, so you have to use shel ayil dafka. In the Shulchan Aruch, Siman Taf Kuf Pevav says like this: Shofar shel Rosh Hashanah mitzvato b'shel ayil. The mitzvah is b'shel ayil v'kafuf. Ubediavad kol hashofrot ksherim. So according to the Shulchan Aruch, b'diavad, everything is for sure okay. The question is, according to the Rambam, it's not so simple to say that if b'diavad it would be okay. The Mishnah Brura in Sifkatan Aleph says, and Sifkatan Bet says, בשל עיל לזכר עקדת יצחק, ובכלל זה גם כבשה נקבה, אלא דמהדרין ביותר נוהגין לחזור אחר של עיל דווקא, דו זכר תפה לעיל של יצחק. So somebody who wants to be mehader, he takes from a ram, which is obviously a very big ma'ala. It seems to be that somebody told me that there was a minhag in Morocco that some people would use a shofar shel ya'el. It's not confirmed to me. A ya'el, which is not from the ram, it's a Steinbeck, and the ya'el obviously doesn't have the advantage of an ayil of Yizkor Kadosh and Yitzchak. But according to what we're saying, that there's a specific ma'ala, we should be careful dafka to take an ayal. Not only that, it would seem to be that the Aruch HaShulchan brings that this opinion is le'ikuva. If you need an ayal, it doesn't work, b'di'avad with something else. So to be choshesh for those, and he seems to say that that's the minhag of all of Am Yisrael, the Aruch HaShulchan, to take dafka shel ayal. So to look for another, especially these kudo shofars or others, it's very nice for slichot, but when you're b'makayim the mitzvah, it's proper to take a shofar shel ayil. I don't know once again how confirmed it is that the Moroccan minhag, that there was such a Moroccan minhag to take of the ya'il. I've never seen that. What I could tell you is that also in Teiman, those that used to, I know they call the long shofar that are coming from the kudo animal shofar Teimani, but a lot of Teimani poskim that I looked into that speak about this say that they also used a ram. It was one that was curvy, wasn't as curvy as the ones that we see, but they didn't use the kudo animal. But there are different eduyot, there are different testimonies regarding that, if it's true or not. So it's not so clear even in Teiman what they use. Al kol panim, one should use on Rosh Hashanah a shofar sha'ayil, like the lashon Shulchan Aruch, and even if the Shulchan Aruch says it's not me'akev b'diavad, Aruch HaShulchan says there are shitot that way, and somebody should be stringent lechatchila, not to use any other type of animal but an ayal. That's point number one. Point number two is in regards to the way how to blow shofar. I'm not going to get into the complicated details, but let's to simplify it in the following manner. There are basically two opinions on how long the tkiyot, shvarim, and tiruot are. There's of course, it's two opinions brought down in the Shulchan Aruch, Siman Taf Kuf Tzadi, Seif Gimel. There are two opinions. The first opinion is Shitat Rashi. Shitat Rashi is that the shiur of a tiruah is shalosh kochot kitanim, three small sounds, and the rule is that a tkiya is as long as a truah. So according to Rashi, a truah is very short and a tkiya is very short. And according to Rashi, in other words, the way that one blows shofar is two. That's it. That's a tashrat according to Rashi. The Shulchan Aruch brings a second opinion that shiur teruah is not three kochot be'alma. Shiur teruah is every shever is three kochot, and you have three shvarim, so it's 9. So according to this opinion, which is Tosfot's opinion, the Riva, every single shvarim has 3, every single tiruah has 9. So it would come out that the tkiya has to be as long as at least 9, and if you're going and we're going to see that there is a that the Mishnah Berurah says that in the Lashon Shulchan Aruch, he says it's a Shulchan Aruch, that the Tkiya has to be as long as 18 turmitin, 18 sounds. Just approximately 4.5 seconds, very long. So the Tkiya of Tashrat has to be as long as Shvarim Trua, because the Tkiya has to be as long as the Trua. And in Tashrat, Shvarim Trua is the Trua that we're saying. We don't know which is if it's Trua the right one or Shvarim is the right one, so you combine them together. 9 and 9 is 18. So the Tkiya has to be has to be 18. So you have to go 2, at least 4.5 seconds, which is long. So the Baltokeh usually has a clock by him. In Sefer Magen Avot, it's brought down in the name of Rav Yaakov Benaim Shlita that in Morocco they weren't machmer to do such long tefillot of 18. There are shitot that say that 12 turmitin is enough. I don't know too much more on that. I haven't been able to find any other sources that discuss this. One thing I do want to discuss is the way that shvarim should be blown. The way that shvarim should be blown. A shever, as we mentioned, is three blows, right? Two. Now the problem with a shever is that if a shever is too long, so it might become a tkiya, which is actually a very big concern. Why the way that we blow shofar, we do not fulfill Rashi's opinion. Why? Because when we do two, one of our shvarim is a tkiya according to Rashi, because Rashi held that tkiya is very short, shalosh kochot be'alma. So as soon as one did a shever the way we do shvarim, it's already a tkiya, so we didn't do shvarim according to Rashi. So we don't fulfill Rashi's opinion. Over here in the Kollel, after tefillah, I blow according to Rashi to fulfill that opinion. It's also brought down in Sefer Magen Avot that there were places in Morocco that the last 10 tkiyot by Kaddish Kabal would be according to Shitat Rashi. I don't do that. I do after tefillah. I do Shitat Rashi. But the issue is that if a shever is too long, then it becomes a tkiya. That's the issue. Because of this, there is an opinion based on the Ramban. It's based on the Ramban, but more specifically, it's an opinion that later developed, that they call it, that it was a brisker shvarim, that the shvarim is not two, it's two. So there's two ways to blow shever. Is shever like this? Two, or is shever two, or two. Right? How do we blow shever? So in the first edition of Magen Avot, I wrote, Rabbi, 2 minutes. In the first edition, 1 minute. In the first edition of Magen Avot, I wrote that a shever is the regular blowing, because if it's going to be too long, it's going to become a tkiya. And I said this in the name of Rabbi Machuf Pachim Ashlita for Bnei Brak, because, and he brings a raya, and in the Shulchan Aruch it says if you make a shever too long, it becomes a tkiya. Well, a tkiya is straight, so the shever is also straight. But in the new edition of Magen Avot, I brought down, it's going to come out very soon, Bezat Hashem, I brought that a shever really is not is straight, because there are some things that hold its to make sure that it doesn't pass a shever, because if you go to, by definition, you can't really make it too long, because it goes up and down, and that seems to be one of the bases in Morocco why they would make such a shever that would go up and down. That way, it shouldn't go into tkiyat, and there is such a smach.
Yeah, so let's say a person finds himself in company where they're discussing Lashon Hara. So we said, so he's not going to partake in that. So sometimes it can be embarrassing. It seems uncomfortable or something. So there's a Vilna Gaon, which in the brisker yeshiva